All right, guys, this is Mobile Gamer Nerd, and we are back with another Raid Shadow Legends free to play mystery shard only run video. This is another remake. We're going to be doing some stuff just so you guys can see and go through each dungeon one by one. Today, we're going to be looking at the Spider's Den, stages 1 through 25. This is a bit of a nightmare kind of fight. So this video may be a little bit longer just because the fights can take long and sometimes you do die. Unfortunately, remember, we are doing this with only heroes that everyone gets and only using mystery shards. So yeah, there's obviously better ways to do this, but this is for people who are just having trouble and can't get through. So basically, in the beginning, this game is gonna put you through a bunch of quests where you have to do stuff and beat Spider through stages, I believe up to stage 15. We're on auto. Most of these fights are going to be in the beginning, it's just going to be you getting stronger. That's really it. And this is kind of the same thing that I said for Dragon. You just need heroes that can stay alive and can do AoE damage. So literally, you can pick anybody. I mean, mainly we're going to probably bring in our main starting five. It's usually the best option at this point is to bring these guys in to get through it. I mean, they're going to be able to beat everything. It's just going to be you leveling your heroes and getting them to 60. Now, this is going to be one of those few dungeons where getting your heroes to 60 is a big change to the fight. It's going to give you more abilities that you can use against this stupid ass spider because he is kind of a jerk. But yeah, obviously this is a stronger team. You just want to kill the baby spiders as quickly as possible and kind of move your way forward. Now, we're going to fast forward because honestly, it's just going to be you leveling up. So if your heroes are all level 40 and you're having trouble in here, you probably should just go level. Like that's it. You probably won't be moving forward in here. We are at stage, I believe, I want to say we've just beat either 11 or 12 with uncommons only. That means we were only using sniper, archer, Saurus. Who else did we use in there? Hungerer as a shielder, and that's really it. The other hero doesn't really matter. We also brought in Outrider, so you have options to get even up to stage 12. All right, but we're gonna go back to stage 10. Same thing. This team, there's a reason they're called the starting five, right? It's because they can get you through these fights. It's going to be slow in the beginning because your heroes aren't going to be strong and they're not going to be able to do the things you need them to do, but they will win. Now, here's the thing. Here's how you know if it's going to be a fight that you can't win. All right. And if you need to go get stronger. Well, here's a couple things. Main thing is if the spider will heal up in this first fight past the HP that you damaged him, more than likely you are not going to win. There's a few exceptions to that. Sometimes in the higher levels, the fight goes so weirdly that you're going to have a heal that will max the HP back, but then you have 2 rounds to heal back up. See how his HP did not go to full? That means we're doing more than enough damage to beat this fight. Now, this is the real test is how much damage you can do between here and 2 runs, all right? So cuz every 2 runs he's going to heal, all right? So if he heals, whatever, it's the Spider Queen. So if she heals before in 2 rounds and goes all the way back up past the damage you did, you need to go back and reconsider your team. And there's other options to it, which we're going to talk about, but this is just strictly for damage-based teams. All right. So as long as you have a damage-based team that's just coming in here to whack a mole on this spider, they just have to do enough damage to kill the queen. The other thing that needs to happen is you need to be able to stay alive, which is why we have Apothecary and Valerie. Valerie has a shield, which will basically help, and Apothecary can heal someone back up. There's no reviving here, so if someone dies, you kind of have to hope that you survive. All right. Now, can you use this team further? I mean, honestly, stage 14 is probably about the furthest I would ever take this team. And even that might be not good. It could be a little bit tough. It also depends on how strong your team is. This is a longer fight. It's not going to be the best fight when you're just getting here, but you can win it. All right. It is possible. Just make sure you keep leveling your heroes up. I'm going to show you all their stats and everything later on. But essentially, this is going to be the hardest fight that you're going to come up against until stage 15. And it's literally just because you're trying to do it by overpowering the spider, which is honestly not your best strategy. All right. It's just a strategy and it's a way to get through it if you don't have any heroes. See what I mean? He healed all the way back up. She healed all the way back up to max HP, but it doesn't matter because this is where it's going to start to matter. All right. Is when we're actually fighting for the 2 rounds because you have 2 rounds to do as much single damage as you can to the boss without the stupid jerk healing. All right, and I'm going to show you a couple ways that you can counteract this with with a couple of other heroes once we beat this one. So, and I'll tell you what those tactics are now while we watch this. So basically, there's a couple things. One is speed down. Speed down is huge, not just for Spider, but for pretty much any dungeon in this game, as long as they can have speed down put on them. That is the most important thing you could probably do because these bosses get insanely fast. All right. So if you can get speed down on them, they get less turns, which means there's a longer period between each attack. So now, see, he's going to just do his regular attack. There's the regular attack. We did tons of damage, as you can see, because my heroes are much stronger than yours will be at this point. But yeah, that's it. So now we have one more round. And the other thing is, you see how they're starting to attack my heroes and make it so that they kind of die? This is where the damage comes in, where you have to be strong enough to kill these spiders before they kill someone else by attacking them. All right, which means your team needs to be fast. All right, your team needs to be able to heal and be able to take a hit. Resistance is always good in this fight because if you don't get poisoned, you don't die as quickly. Because imagine you have 10 spiders attacking one hero. Well, guess what? Yeah, you're gonna have a bad day. So it looks like he's about to get to that point where he heals. Let's say there you go. He healed back up to half, which means now we have 2 rounds again to get him back down. See what I mean? So we were able to get him down about 3/4. Now this is where some of these fights get long. I've seen this fight take up to 8 minutes. Like it does happen. All right. Eight, sometimes even 10. I had runs where they were terrible fights. Not this team at this level, but like, yeah, they definitely will take a while. I mean, this whole team is pretty stacked right now. They're all level 60. They have all their masteries. Like they're really strong. So as you can see, it does take a while sometimes. You may need to bring in someone with a little more power. You may need to bring in a tank that can heal you, which we're going to go over in stage 15. The other thing you need is turn meter drop. All right, turn meter drop is going to be huge for this fight. And there are some teams that can actually fight this boss and make it so that the boss never gets a turn. All right. You can literally make it so that the boss never attacks. It is possible. All right, there you go. And we got a nice little shard for it. So there you go. They got through it. But once again, this is a very strong team, so it makes sense that they'd be able to do it. Now is when things are going to start to change. This is the point in the spider where affinity and certain tactics are going to be needed in order to win. Now, if you have heroes like Artak or Mordecai or Drex or any of those heroes at this point, now would be a good time to bring them in. All right, because that HP burn is the single best way to do damage on the spider. But we're not going to have that. All right, we won't have that for a little bit. You're probably going to get here quicker than you think. All right, so we may not have Drex. All right, so and there's no other options. So what do we do here? Well, that's when we go into our team setup and we go down to spider. All right, so this is spider 15. Now, this fight is it took me a while. I mean, we were actually working on this fight for probably about, I don't know, I'd have to say at least 2 or 3 months. All right, when we first started playing. So don't think that this is going to give you a leg up because it at least tells you what to do. But we were trying so many different things, high tune, a whole bunch of stuff. All right, but that didn't work. So basically, what you do is we have a speed lead. All right, you have Spirit Host in the lead, and the reason she's there is because she can heal herself back up. So even if she gets targeted and becomes one of the tanks, it doesn't matter. She can heal herself back up. She's got bolster on her, so she can heal more with that. But her basic skill can heal her more than efficiently in this fight. Then you've got Crimson Slayer. The reason Crimson Slayer's in here is because she has turn meter drop and a huge AoE, like huge damage on her AoE. Soulbon, she has basically an AoE on her A1, but she has targeted single target damage that can remove turn meter. And that is the most important thing on her, other than just her damage and her AoE. Zephyr has an AoE that always works. It's literally her A1, so she's constantly doing it. And she's a defensive hero, so she can actually take hits pretty well. We'll go into this, their builds and everything later. And then you've got Armiger, who can decrease turn meter also. So you've got 3 turn meter droppers here. All right. No one here has speed down. That's the only downside to this team. However, we're focusing with this team more on turn meter drop. Now, in order for this team to work, you will have to go into AI. All right. Spirit Host is fine. You can leave her alone. We don't care. All right. Flowing Sword needs to be her number one choice of attack. All right. It has to be because this is the turn meter drop and we need that to go off. So round one, round two, round three, turn meter drop. Soulbon, same thing. Infused Arrow, number one. Soulbon shot has to be number one because this is the one that drops turn meter. All right, see? Fully depletes the target's turn meter. So this needs to be flagged as one. So these are all one. And then infused arrow number 2. Why do we want that? Because we want her to attack the boss. We want that boss dead as quickly as possible. The AoE is nice, and you can get away with it being the priority, but it doesn't work as fast, and it won't work as well. Zephyr, no heal. All right. You don't need ranger skill. It's pointless. It does nothing for us. All right. The whole point here is we want to kill everything quickly and be able to get the boss dead. All right. So we want suppressive fire because she's in life steal and she's going to heal herself every single time she attacks. And she has the lowest HP in the entire team. And then you got Armiger, which honestly, I would take off laid to rest. You can leave it as default. Um, we're going to take it off completely. All right. For right now, for this fight. The reason I say that is because we want him dropping turn meter the whole time. All right. That's all we care about in these low end fights. We don't care about anything else. Don't use. There you go. So round 1, round 2, round 3. He's never going to use laid to rest, even though it is a great hit and does hit very hard. For these early stages, you don't want it because if you have it on auto, he's only going to use it when the boss's turn meter is really low. So, I mean, I'm really high. So he won't keep you down. So let's say like he's going to use his here, I'll show you when we go in. So there we go. We're set. Let's start. So he's only going to use it when the turn meter is low. He'll use his other skill, which sounds great because oh, the turn meter of the boss is low. Maybe we don't need to do that. But the whole point is that you want to get as much turn meter because that turn meter goes up fast. All right. You got to be careful with it because sometimes you'll just be waiting, and then all of a sudden you'll lose the turn meter because of one hit, and that's all it takes. So having Armiger just constantly turn meter dropping is a huge help if you're having trouble with turn meter. If your other heroes can handle the turn meter drop, then it's fine. You don't have to worry about it. You could put him in that. You can put that skill on. But right now, we just want to see how much damage we can do. Now, I believe on this fight, like, look how much damage they do on the AoE. It's crazy, right? Um, I believe on this fight, the Spider Queen will heal up to full HP on the first round if we give her the chance. Unless Solbon gets, because I don't think this is a no hit team right now. I'm pretty sure it's not. Yeah, it's definitely not. There's no way. Unless somebody gets another turn meter off beforehand. Yeah, maybe it is. I don't know. We'll find out. If Solbon can get her main hit off, then yes. See, Solbon will come in with her AoE sometimes, which is nice. There you go. So she didn't even heal up all the way. So that's kind of nice. Now, the only problem here is healing. Now, you've got a regen on Armor, so he can actually do his thing. You've got lifesteal on Crimson Slayer. You've got lifesteal on Sniper, and we've got lifesteal on Soulbond. So the point here is that everybody needs to see this is where the problem can happen is when they start attacking Soulbond, because if she dies, it's over. There goes turn meter drop. So we need to get her with an AoE, hopefully pretty soon. I think I've had her die before, and it doesn't even matter. She's good, but she's not perfectly usable. It doesn't really matter. See, now they're targeting back to the tank, and they can go back to attacking. Now, Soulbong usually survives this fight. It's not the end of the world if she doesn't. I don't really care one way or the other if she dies. It's not. It makes the fight quicker, like a lot quicker if we've got her, but it doesn't have to be that way. As long as everybody gets their turns in, we're good. And then Armiger comes in with his turn meter drop. Soulbon is the best turn meter drop in the fight, which is why it sucks when she dies because it makes the fight a lot longer. But either way, there you go. See, she comes in and kills everyone, and that's really what it is. The AOE from Zephyr is good enough to destroy the last few, see those few spiders that pop up, and stop them from getting turns. Crimson is basically a beast when it comes to attack. She does crazy damage. Her A1 is a little wonky because she's going to hit 3 times, but as you can see, we've got Zephyr at a point where she can pretty much take any damage, so we don't care. As long as no one gets stunned, like that was what happened to her, to Soulbon, she got slept, which means she didn't have a turn to get her HP back up, so she got targeted. Say right back up to full HP, and then we got that extra turn meter drop from Crimson. And this is why I said you should take, see, perfect timing. This is why you should leave him Armiger on turn meter drop, just in case this happens. I'm glad it happened because you know what? This is the stuff you're going to see, guys. This is what happens when you play a game. All right. Things go wrong. People get murdered in this game. They fall down when they're supposed to help you out, and you got to hopefully grind through it. There's more turn meter drop. Hopefully we can get an AoE in here before the turn goes. I'm hoping. I don't know. Oh, no, we did not. And there you go. Heal right back up. But as you can see, no one got stunned. So that's good. No one got slept. So they can go right back in. So now you have 2 more turns. Like I said, that's all it has to happen. It's the only thing that has to happen to make this work is you have to have the team do more damage than the healing of the spider. That's it. And of course, now she does the AoE, right? Sometimes timing is everything, man. I've seen fights where like one off turn thing can screw up the entire fight. But as you can see, look, you're already at 4 minutes. I remember doing this, and I think if I remember correctly from the old school fights, is that this fight would take sometimes 6 to 7 minutes. Like it's a crap fight. But look at Zephyr. She's just taking it like a champ. That's the whole thing. We want them attacking Zephyr. If we wanted this to be a better fight, we could do a couple things. One, we could put more resistance onto Soul Bond. Other option is we could put more HP on Soul Bond because then she wouldn't come down below the threshold to get attacked by the spiders. Because everybody in here is green. So we're all Spirit Affinity up in this fight. And we've played this fight before. Very rarely does it go this poorly. This is like a one-off thing, but you know what? It's like I'm going to leave it just because you guys get to see the annoying versions of this game as much as the not annoying versions. But look, these guys can handle themselves just fine. There's like no issues as long as everyone gets their turn in and Zephyr heals herself back up. You're good because everyone else can keep themselves healed. Armager's the only one who might have an issue if he gets hit with something like weird. But as you can see, they're doing pretty well. I don't know if we're going to watch the whole fight just because it's kind of silly. It's a long fight, and as you can see, they're able to handle it. There's no signs of anything going wrong here at this point. Like I said, Soulbond's the only one that's a problem. But you can see just by how much having one hero get killed is the problem. So essentially, this is just going to keep going down. So it'll come down to here, go up to there, go down to here, go up to here. Now, this is a terrible, terrible version of this fight. So just remember that this is the worst it can go. So if you the best case scenario is it would already be over because Soulbond would have already taken the turn meter down and we would have killed them already. So yeah, we're not going to watch the whole thing. So pause and battle. Either way, the team works. Now you can update this team. There's a couple ways you can update this team. One, since obviously she didn't do that great, you could take her out. All right, you could edit team. We could take out Soulbon if we wanted to. I'm not gonna do that right now, but you could bring in Haikatoon as a extra speed here hero. You can bring in Apothecary if you're having trouble instead of Soulbond. So there's other options, but this team by itself can handle it. But she just makes it a lot easier. Now, as soon as we get out of this area, this is when things get a little weird and a little hard. So the affinities of these fights are going to be really difficult. All right. So each time that you do this, all right, when you fight a boss, so now this one here is Spirit. All right. So now this team will work on Spirit because Blue is strong against Spirit. Spirit is strong against the Force, and Force is strong against Magic. So the spiders are going to still target Zephyr here. Okay. So that's fine. So this team will still work in this fight. When we go into the next stage, 18, so now we're blue, all right? So you would think, oh, maybe that's fine, all right? Well, blue is now strong against green. Now, in the low end version, this team is possible that it could work. It is possible. It's just really hard to manage it. So you might have to start finding new heroes. Now, the blue is going to target the green, which is fine. But once we get into red, all right, something else is going to happen. Green, well, actually, no, it's blue, right? No, blue is the one because blue's strong. So they're going to get murdered in this fight. So let's try it. I had the right one. So this is now blue. All right, so we're going magic affinity versus now the other problem here is what's going to happen. So affinity, why does it matter? Well, it lowers your accuracy. So you already saw some no crits there. It lowers your ability to drop turn meter. It's going to make them miss sometimes. It's going to make them take more damage from the enemy that they're fighting. It's going to make them do less damage to the enemy they're fighting. Look at how strong. Look at how much Zephyr's getting hit for. So unless she counters every so often, she's going to die. Like that's just unfortunately how it is. Look at that. Look how much damage she's taking versus the last one. We only went up 3 stages. Look at that. She's already dead. She got her heal back up. Is it possible she could win this? I mean, there's everything's possible, right? This is where speed is going to be an issue. So now he's going to use his big attack, and there goes your tank, and you're dead. All right. So the problem here is now you need to start thinking about what heroes you can bring into these fights. Now, we didn't really start moving forward on Spider, honestly, until we got certain heroes. All right. So we're going to edit team. Now, and I mean this, like this is the hardest dungeon for new players. So don't get Don't get upset if this team right here doesn't help you. This is a team that really, honestly, only is meant to get you through the auto fight on stage 15 because that's one of the quests. You have to auto fight 15, I think 10 times. So this is the team that will get you through that fight, all right, while you wait for other heroes. Now, after this, you're kind of beat for a little while. I'm not going to lie. Um, so basically, this is a team that we use. And yes, once again, we're fast forwarding a lot. So we're not going to use Mithrala. All right, we're taking Mithrala out. We're bringing Drex in here. Now Drex uh and Syl, you should get it. You can literally get all three of these heroes about the same time. If you're starting from the beginning. If you don't have them now and you haven't been trying to farm them and get their pieces, well, Syl you're going to get anyway. But if you haven't been farming their pieces and you're watching this video, well, you've got about 6 months to do that. So you can just take your time and maybe hopefully you have another burn hero. But I'm going to show you how it works, and hopefully you have RTAC or something like that that you can use if you've been playing for a little while that you can use as an HP burner. And funny enough, Drex isn't even that good for this fight. Like he's good as a tank, and that's really all he's good for. His burns, he has to be attacked. So if your team is stronger than the spiders, you end up killing them before they attack him and lighting themselves on fire, which can make the fight a little bit harder. All right. However, conversely, we've got our other boy here who can do healing. Who can do burns on his AoE attack. So now we're going to go in here and we're going to basically switch this team out. All right. So we're going to take her out. We're going to bring him out, take him out. He's going to become our leader. All right. We're going to bring Drex back in, and we are going to bring in Syl. Now, as far as AI in here, your Carl, his main thing is to use Blizzard Rider, and he does that anyway. So that you don't really need to adjust him. Drex, fine, he can use his provoke. He doesn't matter. Her doesn't really matter. Still does not matter. Akoth is the one you got to worry about. Pyroclasm has to be his number one hit. All right, he's got to light them all on fire immediately. You can technically leave them on default for 2 and 3. You just want that first hit to be there. But to be honest, I would probably just put it as a default to be first choice. All right, because that's the skill that you want him to use it every time. Because if he doesn't use it, it's bad. Now, Akoth comes from the Doom Tower, and you can do this without him. Okay, so that's just something to think about. You don't need him for this fight. It just makes it so much easier. So if you have Drex and then you get someone else instead of Akoth. Just like I said, any HP burner works here. So if you have Mordecai, bring him in. Sure, bring him in. If you got Ninja recently, bring him in. He's a burner. You know what I mean? There's heroes you can bring in here to replace these heroes that take a while to get. And funny enough, Akoth doesn't even take that long to get. I mean, he's another one of those like 6 month 8 month heroes. So if you just started the game, you should be able to get all of these heroes by the time this is becoming an issue. So let's close this up. We're using that team. Now, this is basically your team for the rest of the fight. So you can manipulate this by using the old team that we just had. You can add heroes. You can bring Syl in. You can bring in. We actually brought in Kale as a tank one time for Spider just because it worked. I think it might have been this fight or no, yeah, they fight green. So we've brought Kale in. We brought in Haikatoon. We've tried a whole bunch of different variations of heroes. All of them work as long as the hero that you're using as your tank is a life steal hero. All right. So we're going to go in here and show you how this team works. And that way you can see it. Now, I don't know if this is a 100% team on 25. They did work when I just did it before. So it does work. I just don't know if it's a 100%. And these are all heroes that everyone will get over time. And you can do this. Remember, I'm just showing you the full team that you can use at 25. But you can use mixtures of this. You could bring in Solbon or Armiger to replace Yakarl in the beginning. So if you don't have Yakarl, you can switch him out for that. Syl's kind of irreplaceable for reviving. If you have Mithrala, I mean, that's even harder to get than Syl because Syl, you just wait and you get her. So that's kind of just how that works. Drex, you get from Tag Team. All you got to do is fight every day and you'll get him. I believe Yakarl dies in the beginning of this fight, or at least he did. Oh, no, he died on stage 25. So he shouldn't die here, maybe. He's basically a tank as of right now because we don't care. Like here, it doesn't matter because he's good. They're going to target anyone that has low HP. We essentially actually funny enough, screwed this fight up. I had to do some research, not research like online, but I had to do some research into my own account to see why we were failing on stage 25 before we did this video. Because what happened was is we were actually upgrading. We never upgrade Akoff. So we never changed his gear. He's still in the same gear that he was when we first got him. Drex, on the other hand, we've been using in other content. So we actually upgraded him beyond the HP of Akoth. So Akoth was getting targeted on stage 25. So what I did was I switched their armor so that now Drex is wearing um, Akoth's chest, and Akoth is wearing my great chest for Drex. And that fixed the HP problem because it gave him an extra 10k HP and took it off of Drex. So now he should get targeted in the fight once this boy gets killed. So as you can see, the point here is that you want to HP burn the babies and the boss and everybody. Look at that. HP burn on everybody. And now every time these little jerks get a turn, it's going to burn the boss and take damage down. And the reason you have Yakarl is look at that. He took all that turn meter away. And this is why I was saying turn meter drop is amazing. Yakarl is really good for this because he has speed down and he has turn meter drop full. All right. Syl has speed down and turn meter drop. So she's really good for this fight. Drex is just there to soak damage. Mr. Apothecary is there to heal and to speed the team up. And that's it. And you got your extra burner with ACOTH. You can use any AoE burner that you have, any AoE burner you want. None of it matters as long as the guy can stay alive and has more HP than your tank. All right. Remember the affinity. I'm going to keep saying affinity. Affinity is the most important thing that you'll ever see in this dungeon. All right. It does not take effect until around 15. All right. After 15, the affinity of this boss is going to change the dynamic of this fight every single time. Literally every fight will be different. All right. And that's because you're just not going to have a tank. Hopefully, you were building a couple of damage dealers that have reasonable HP. Look at that burn just taking them down. But as you can see, it's slow. Like it's a slow fight. It's not a good fight. It's not the best fight, but the burns work and it gets you through. All right. So as long as you can protect, if you have a tank that can soak hits that has low HP, lower than everyone on the team, and you have someone who can burn the boss and someone who can either heal, keep your team alive, or drop the turn meter of the boss so much that they never get a turn. Those are all your strategies. All right. So speed down, HP burn, turn meter drop, healing, speed up on the team, and as much attack as you can. That's why we have your Carl in the front. We want this fight to go a little bit quicker. If you're lacking in accuracy, you can put your what's his name, Drex in the lead or any other accuracy hero, but that's going to slow down your damage and make it a little harder. But as you can see, it doesn't really get many turns. And since we don't need to show every fight, we'll just go right to 25 after this. But most of this is see, and now he's dead. And you get some fish. Look at that little fat fish. But yeah, 4 minutes. That was actually my best time here because we never did it here. We actually used other teams to get through these fights. We used mixtures of Syl and Kale. Like I think for this fight, we ended up using Kale as our tank. I think this was the one we used Kale for our tank. So there are things you're gonna have to do. You may have to use random heroes to get through certain fights. As far as 21 through 25, same team. All right. So we were able to look at this. Best time was 1 minute and 55 seconds for the higher level. All right. So it actually worked out quicker in the higher level than it does on stage 18. 18 took 4 minutes with that team. Now we were able to beat stage 25 with this team. Now I think your Carl died. Like I said, I think your Carl dies on stage 25. I think he dies in the first round. Unless he can get off his unless they can get a nice freeze on everybody. Like if it gets on, yeah. See, we missed some. So and we stunned too. So that's not bad. They just can't kill your car in the first round. The other thing that went wrong on, I don't know why my voice was like, "Ugh." Imagine. Um, so the only other thing I think that happened, which changed the fight last time, was that we didn't have the HP burn set correctly. But you can see it does so much damage. Look at that. It just like eats the damage. Look at that. It just sucks him up. They're like, yeah, you get HP burn. Take it to the grave, spider. It just sucks that she's gonna heal it right back up. Now we do have Syl in Relentless, so she does get extra turns. I would really like it if she gets there. You go. Turn meter smite is really helpful in this fight. It does a lot of damage, and someone like Armiger who does damage based on a destroying HP can also be very useful in a fight like this if you have the heroes to protect them. Killing every single spider before they heal like that is also very helpful. But down goes your Carl. There goes the smite. See, the smite just helped us out a lot. Did 580,000. Hopefully, we heal up quickly enough to not get anyone else killed. That's always a good thing. Having Mithril in here can be helpful if you have her. I highly recommend getting her if you don't. She can help with the whole shielding and healing and stuff and keeping everyone going. Sill's going to basically heal everyone back up. I think I'm pretty sure my apothecary has reasonable HP, so he shouldn't get targeted. But if he does, it's not the end of the world. Look at all those burns. The burn is the word. And if your Carl dies, it just means that you got to wait for him to get revived again. He's your turn meter dropper, which is going to make it much easier. Sill's going to miss here and there. She's not very reliable when it comes to turn meter drop. And the speed of this fight all relies on how much the boss heals versus who dies and when. That's it. And how much your burns hit at the right time. I've seen his guy's health drop so fast, it's ridiculous. Like you'll just get a freeze on everyone, and the spiders won't get an attack because they'll all be frozen and burnt at the same time. And then boom. I think he just missed his turn meter drop. That was crazy. I've never seen him miss that. Well, not never, but I hadn't seen him miss it recently. I think this is not the heal, right? This is not the heal. All right, so everyone's provoked. Hopefully all the spiders go. There you go. Turn meter drop. So that's good. Now all the burns are going to kick in. See? Perfect. We like this. I like spiders that get turned, that don't get turns, and are burnt. Hopefully all the burns go off. There you go. Boom, boom. Please give me a burn. We have a smite, so even if he heals, it's not the end of the world. There you go. Dead spider. So burns are your number one friend in Spider's Den in the higher stages. Otherwise, yeah, Armiger, you got Cold Heart. There's other heroes that you can use that do HP drop, do damage based on HP. There's a bunch of them out there. I'm sure there's more, but that is a viable option. I know that I've seen Cold Heart do like over 1 million damage in one hit. I've seen Armiger do over 1 million damage in one hit. Uh, Obviously, if you have better heroes, there's ones like what is his name, like Nut. Yeah, you want to bring Nut in here, he can one shot the boss. There's things you can do. Obviously, there's other options here, but this is just so that you guys understand the fight and how it works. You just got to understand that the spiders are going to target the one hero that has the lowest HP and affinity based. So if you are looking at, we'll look at this. Here we go, battle. So if you're fighting with spirit, so this is a void one, it doesn't matter. But if you're fighting spirit, they're going to target a force affinity hero if there's one on your team. All right. If you're fighting force, they're going to target whichever hero has the lowest HP in magic. And if you're in magic, they're going to target the lowest HP in spirit. If you're fighting spirit with spirit, they're just going to target the lowest hero HP. If your whole team is one affinity on any of these, they're going to target the one with the lowest HP. All right. So you're going to have to mess with your stats and sometimes mess with your gear in order to make this work correctly. But otherwise, the same stuff applies. You want HP burn, life steal on your heroes. Really helps keeping team members alive if you don't have good healers. Speeding the team up, slowing down the boss by doing speed down, using turn meter drop. There's all kinds of things. Using anyone who has HP drop, damage based on max HP, and also your Carl. Funny enough, Syl is the reason we kind of got through this. It's actually why we were able to beat it. She is the best. She was the one that got us through most of the early spider fights and actually most of the level 20 dungeons. So there are options to switch things around. I just wanted you to see the general idea and which heroes I use to get through it. Once again, up to stage 14, you don't have to worry too much. It's just a damage monster, and you do as much damage as you can. You could use Mithrala here, but like I said, we're not going to use it for this video just because she takes longer to get. Um, Obviously, Drex is awesome. We have him in Lifesteal. There's his stats. Masteries is done. I mean, we got him into Giant Slayer. He's got all his skills max. We basically worked him out pretty well at this point. We beat this though. Remember, we beat this in the first year. We've been playing for 3 years, so you're seeing my stats after 3 years of playing. I, I honestly don't use him that much anymore. You would think that he'd be like a number one hitter, but I I'm sure he's great in a lot of places. I just don't bring him out often. Mainly for boss fights where I needed the guy to just get lit on fire and kind of kill him quicker. I'll bring him in, but sometimes that's a detriment. So we'll see. There we go. Sill's got once again the same set we've had on her since day one. I have not changed her gear except for maybe like one piece. So she's had the same relentless set. that we got from an event. And yeah, we haven't changed it. We haven't changed her. I think we changed this accessory. Like this is we got this one, which is pretty good. A revenge banner, which is nice. Other than that, yeah, we really haven't changed her too much. She's been pretty much solid the entire time. That's why she's still 53,000 power. Um, once again, stats here matter. She's 47,000 HP. Yakarl has no HP. He is like horrendous. Look at this. 42. So yeah, they're a little bit low comparative. But Drex is at we lowered his HP, so now he is at 47. So literally one hit can change that fight. All right. This is not optimal, but it's because like I said, we upgraded him too much since the last time we played. So I would just basically to fix this whole problem, I would just have to upgrade the other heroes and give them more HP. That's it. So that's all I'd have to do. It sounds like not a lot, which actually it isn't. If you can find some good glyphs, you can do it pretty quickly. And then we've got other heroes that work in here. I mean, Haikatoon could be useful in there as a lead. She's got 19% speed, and you could use her and Apothecary to literally just speed up your team. I've done that before in some of the fights between 18 and 21. You can basically just use her and Apothecary and then bring in someone who can tank the hits like Kale. I mean, I think he died, but it didn't really matter. Like we just used him as a tank. But yeah, you can do that to speed the team up, and sometimes that works. You can even use her and Apothecary with Drex and Akoth. And sometimes that'll work out well depending on which gear you use and who's got regen. She's got regen right now. If you don't have anything to heal her, she's kind of useless and she just sucks up heals. So you might want to put her in a regen set like that to make it work a little bit better. Spider's all about healing and regen on your heroes. That's it. It's the best thing. It's all about that. Who else we got in here that could be useful in here? Gwyneth is someone who does AoE damage all the time on an A1. She's someone that takes a while to get. More than likely, you probably don't have her. Lock Wayne could be a good hero here. He's kind of strong. So there's some other heroes that are at least useful. We used Grush as a hero that you could use in here possibly to heal if you're having trouble with some things. Uh, Archmage is really good. I think we might have actually used him in Spider a couple times just because his stun is useful. And that's the main thing. He hits as an AoE if as long as he crits. So he'll crit on the first spider and then stun the whole team. So that way you can actually get through the fight and not get anyone hit. So if you're having trouble with your tank dying too much, bringing someone like Archmage Helmet can help because he can stun the crap out of everybody. Because Sill's not reliable with it for some reason. I don't know why. He's really reliable with stuns. I have him set up like literally into accuracy and everything. Like this dude he's ready to rumble with some stuns. So he's really good. You would think Dark Alhain be good in there. If you don't have support, probably not because she just does damage. But if you make her if you make her a nuker, you could bring her as a secondary damage dealer to kill all the spiders quicker. That's an option. No, nothing wrong there. Apothecary, 61,000 power. Yeah, I mean he's got 58,000 HP, 50,000 HP, but his speed is really high, 297. When we first did this, he was probably like 200. I mean, if you're lucky, you have 200. I don't even remember what we had him at. It was probably atrocious because that's what most of my builds are normally. Um, Steel Boyer has a attack that does damage based on max HP right here. See, damage increased according to enemy HP. So she can do a lot of damage if you want to build her like that. So that's someone that can do it as well. My Spirit Host is basically in bolster. She's got reasonable stats though. She's got 42,000 HP. Once this is real close. She's actually lower. That's crazy, right? But that shield changes everything. We don't have her in the fight, so there you go. In that regular fight. Here we go. We got War Maiden. I mean, most of these I've shown on the uh what is that? The starting five video. So I don't think you really need to go too much into that. Uh, you can just watch those videos. And a lot of these other heroes, I have, well, not all, a lot, all of them. I have champion spotlights for all of them. So you can go into my playlists and check that out to see what like most of my heroes are built with and what we started with. You can also go back into my dungeon guides. You'll see some of the older versions of this video. Uh, Soulbon is actually really cool. She's got life steal. I think she's got yeah, she's hurt. This is where the HP was low. Look at this, 29,000. I think my Zephyr has like 28 or 26. It's like crazy the difference. But that's why she was dying. So yeah, we could easily just upgrade her stuff and get her to be a little bit beefier in the HP department and make her better. Who else do we got here? We bring in some of these guys. So Crimson Slayer, she's actually funny enough, low power, but does insane damage. She's got a lot of attack with that. What is she at? She's at 3,700 attack on her. So yeah, she's really good. I love her. We have her in a 40% attack chest, which means she can do what she just did with a 40% attack. That's crazy. So we can easily make her better. She's wearing a 4-star speed boot. She's not built at all. These guys are still built in the gear that they used to be in because we kind of started ignoring them back in the day. And we've got Zephyr, like I said, awesome hero. She's in lifesteal. Total stats with that 26,000 HP, very low. That's good, but her defense is 4,600. Took me a while to get this. I farmed and tried to get this. Her speed is low too. She's at 188. I would prefer to get that higher. And her resistance is 262. That is very important that you get her resistance up for those early stages because if she can't resist the poisons, she will die unless your defense is like 9,000, which I don't think you can do. Good luck with that. Crit's not that important. It's nice to have it just so you can kind of guarantee some hits that are going to heal her quicker. But at some point, it doesn't even matter because her AoE, if you get her fast, her AoE is going to constantly heal her to max HP anyway because she has low HP. So funny enough, crit becomes less important the stronger you make her. Funny enough, how's that for a bag of apples? And then you've got Mr. Armiger. We have him in regen so he can stay alive and keep himself healed up. He's mostly defensive stuff, and we've got him at 32,000 HP right now. So yeah, he's not he's higher than Zephyr, and that's really all that matters. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of options for Spider, and I know it's a very confusing fight, and it can be very daunting. And I don't want you guys to ever think that it's undoable. All right, it is doable. You can do it with a lot of different heroes, and I highly recommend checking out some other channels if you want to see some lower end teams that do these things. I mean, you can watch my uncommon section where we did it all the way up until stage 12. You can watch those videos. I think I have that on most of them. We might have even done it on the live stream. So I definitely did Spider with the uncommons only up to 12, and we were definitely able to do it. And that's in 90 days, by the way. So literally, we're at 90 days, and we're beating that's not impressive. I'm just saying it's not impressive at all because I haven't been playing as much, but it's actually just to show you. I've been playing 90 days and we were able to do it with uncommons only. We got through stage 12. So if you're having trouble below stage 12, I highly recommend watching that because that's probably a good idea. But this is also going to help you because at least it'll show you what you need to get through these dungeons rather than who you need to get through these dungeons. This is just the heroes that I get, that everyone will get eventually. You probably have much better stuff because I can't summon. All right. So, yeah, if you guys have any questions, things you want to talk about, things you want to discuss, feel free to leave a comment below. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. You help the channel grow. We do a live show every single week, and you can become a member for $1.99 a month, which basically gets you access to all of my videos before everyone else as soon as I post them. And it gives you emojis and it gives you a free video every week that has no commercials. It'll be random. I don't know which game it'll be, but you know what? That's what we like. We like random surprises. All right. So this is Spider, stage 1 through 25, the worst dungeon for new players ever, and almost makes everyone want to quit. This is Mobile Gamer Nerd, and you guys take care.